I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends. They're not like, it's not just like a, hey, there's the person and we move on. It's they're there for a reason. And I'm really excited. But as I've gotten a little bit older, I sort of want to really, I'm lucky that I get to work in this industry, and particularly incredibly fortunate that I get to work in it this long. But I really want to work with people that are either immensely talented.
Why do I always fuck that up? I always fuck that up. This said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a
Welcome back to Popem. Hollywood is buzzing again, the land of glittering premieres, flashing cameras, and red carpet smiles, where one leaked text or whispered rumor can cause explosions bigger than a box of popcorn in the microwave. And guess what? Joe Rogan just tossed some serious shade at Ryan Reynolds, and the timing could not be worse. Right now, the spotlight is burning hotter than ever on Reynolds, the quick-witted star who brought Deadpool to life and turned a wise mercenary into a global sensation. Add his glamorous wife, Blake Lively, once America's sweetheart, and the wholesome image of Justin Baldoni, and you'd think we're headed straight for a rom-com setup. But no, this story is unfolding more like a full-blown soap opera, packed with leaked texts, whispers about a so-called dragon squad, and even the beginnings of a lawsuit. Here's the setup. We have an anti-hero superstar who might be stretching Marvel's patience, an actress determined to claim her rightful spotlight, and Baldoni, actor-director and filmmaker, caught in the middle while just trying to make a heartfelt love story. Hollywood loves its boy meets girl arcs, but this tale proves the real drama happens when the cameras stop rolling. And trust me, it's juicier, messier, and stranger than anything in a movie script. Before we dive deeper, quick reminder, that like and subscribe button, because honestly, your support is what keeps this channel alive. Now, let's rewind the tape. There was a time when Deadpool was nothing but a crazy idea. Ryan Reynolds, known back then for lighthearted rom-com roles and comic sidekicks, spotted an opportunity in Marvel's offbeat Mercenary. For him, this was the underdog project of a lifetime. He fought to make it R-rated, sharp-tongued, and meta enough to break the fourth wall, something that made studios sweat bullets. Oh, and that infamous leaked test footage, many in Hollywood still believe Reynolds himself may have nudged it into the world, though no one can officially prove it. Either way, the gamble paid off. Marvel, impressed by his persistence and humor, gave him more creative control than they usually hand out. Reynolds suddenly became the prom king of the Deadpool set, and that power came with plenty of swagger. The first film smashed box office records, and the sequel wasn't far behind. But with success often comes ego, and the whispers started soon after. Insiders claimed Reynolds had grown into Marvel's most charming, yet most exact. One moment he was firing off the perfect on-brand joke. The next he was brushing aside studio warnings like a ground crew flagging planes in a hurricane. Meanwhile, on an entirely separate soundstage, Justin Baldoni was charting his own path. Known for his genuine kindness and roles that made grandmothers nod approvingly, Baldoni decided to take on the challenge of adapting Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, It Ends With Us. Not only was he directing, he was co-writing, and even starring. A lot to juggle. Yes, but Baldoni's reputation for boundless positivity made fans believe he could pull it off. Enter Blake Lively. Stunning, seasoned, and unwilling to play a flat character, she joined the project in the lead role. At first, fans were thrilled Lively brought star power, and Baldoni's emotional approach promised authenticity. But behind the scenes, tension began to simmer. Rumor has it, Lively felt her character lacked depth. And if there's one thing, she doesn't do it. Sit back quietly when she feels short. For Baldoni, balancing acting, directing, and writing was already overwhelming. Some say he failed to notice just how heated things were getting. That small spark of friction reportedly turned into a storm when gossip spread that Baldoni, in private, described Lively as challenging. Considering his squeaky clean sunny persona, it was like hearing a monk lose his temper. It didn't add up. The question soon arose, was Lively really that difficult? Or was she simply fighting tooth and nail for the respect she believed her role deserved? And then came the plot twist no one saw coming. A batch of text messages surface leaked in a way that felt like stumbling into the wrong group chat. In those messages, Lively casually referred to her close-knit circle of allies, including Reynolds, as her dragons. Powerful, protective, and ready to breathe fire if needed. The nickname sparked an entirely new layer of speculation. Was this a glimpse into Hollywood's hidden power plays? A secret squad pulling strings behind the scenes? So now, with Joe Rogan firing public shots, Marvel execs reportedly sweating, Baldoni caught in the middle, and Blake Lively leaning on her so-called dragon squad, the drama is escalating by the day. This isn't just another celebrity tiff, it's turning into a saga that mixes blockbuster egos, marital alliances, and the cutthroat politics of filmmaking. One thing's clear, the cameras may stop rolling, but in Hollywood, the real action never does.
High praise as well. It was just one of those. It felt like a live-action Pixar movie. It was something that, I wanted to do something where nobody was being stabbed in the face.
About a month ago, this really hit home with me too. About a month ago, I was sitting in traffic and I was just like jamming These Dreams by heart. I was killing it in the car.
Now, calling your inner circle dragons doesn't sound shady on the surface, unless, of course, you're unleashing them to scorch anyone who gets in your way. Fans and industry insiders couldn't resist spiraling into speculation. What exactly were Blake Lively's so-called dragons doing behind the curtain? Were they gently guiding her image, planting friendly gossip in tabloids, or setting up carefully packaged interviews that magically turned negative headlines into feel-good fluff? If you've ever had a best friend who'd back you no matter what, you get the idea. Except here, we're not talking about simple loyalty. It looked like she had an entire fire-breathing army working behind the scenes with serious influence. The leak landed at Marvel Studios like a lightning strike. If Ryan Reynolds was in on this so-called Dragon Squad, it meant his influence stretched far beyond cracking jokes on set or punching up scripts with cheeky one-liners. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about Lively's alleged demands or comedic timing. It was about the darker possibility that the power couple was orchestrating an entire covert PR manipulating Hollywood's biggest narratives like master puppeteers. Marvel executives, already nervous about Reynolds' growing creative control over Deadpool, reportedly saw the texts as a flashing red siren. To them, the dragon chatter wasn't harmless. It was proof that Reynolds' influence had crossed into dangerous territory. Some insiders even claimed the higher-ups were muttering about clipping his wings or, better yet, his dragon fire. Picture studio heads squeezing stress balls like their careers depended on it. Here's where things spiraled further. Whispers suggested that Deadpool's next script included a gag about a corny director trying to juggle too much. Harmless? Maybe. But to anyone paying attention, it sounded suspiciously like a not-so-subtle dig at Justin Baldoni, director, writer, actor, and yes, real-life multitasker. Marvel execs instantly saw the risk. They could already envision the headlines. Deadpool burns humanitarian director. Fans outraged. When the studio pushed for rewrites to avoid disaster, Reynolds allegedly refused to budge. He stood his ground, insisting the jokes were pure Deadpool edgy meta and guaranteed to make audiences laugh. But Marvel wasn't laughing. For them, this wasn't edgy comedy anymore. It felt like weaponized humor, maybe even personal vendettas, slipping into blockbuster territory. Then came the biggest shocker yet. Rumors swirled that Marvel was gearing up for legal action. Yes, you heard that right, a lawsuit or gag order against their own star. Nothing says thank you for a billion-dollar franchise like serving your lead actor with legal paperwork. Insiders claimed Marvel feared that letting Reynolds run free would set a dangerous precedent. If one star could hijack a massive superhero film, what would stop others from turning multi-million-dollar blockbusters into their own personal soap operas? The Hollywood grapevine exploded. Ryan Reynolds, once hailed as the witty, philanthropic fan favorites, suddenly found himself at the center of a full-blown crisis. All those sharp-edged quips that once boosted his charm were now back at him, painting him as reckless instead of clever. Studios that had been eager to lock him into new projects suddenly froze, waiting to see if Marvel's legal hammer would drop. Was Reynolds still the bankable funny man? Or was he about to become a cautionary tale, the star who pushed too far? Fans, as always, split right down the middle. Some defended him fiercely, saying he was simply being his irreverent self, giving audiences the raw Deadpool energy they loved. Others whispered that maybe, just maybe, fame had finally gone to his head. After all, running a $200 million superhero juggernaut isn't the same thing as firing off a cheeky tweet. Meanwhile, Blake Lively's world turned upside down. The same press that once adored her spotlighting her impeccable fashion, her picture-perfect family moments, and her hilarious online banter suddenly had fresh gossip to chase. Stories swirled that Lively might have been pulling strings behind the scenes, quietly overshadowing co-stars and massaging narratives to suit her image. The so-called dragon scandal ripped through her previously untouchable reputation. Overnight, whispers circulated that the actress, once painted as Hollywood's sweetheart, wasn't as docile or innocent as she seemed. Some applauded her, calling it savvy strategy in an industry that often punishes women for being assertive. Others accused her of crossing the line from self-defense into sabotage. So what was the truth? Was Lively simply a smart player navigating Hollywood's ruthless underbelly? Or was she really orchestrating power plays and tossing people under the bus when it suited her? Public opinion became a chaotic storm, but one fact stood out. Her squeaky clean image now carried scorch marks. And then came the question, the one no fan wanted to imagine. Could Ryan Reynolds actually lose his iconic role as Deadpool? On paper, the idea seemed absurd. Reynolds is so deeply tied to the character, it's nearly impossible to separate the two. Deadpool without him would be like peanut butter without jelly, or Batman without the cape. Simply unthinkable. Yet, behind closed doors, rumors said Marvel was seriously considering it. The logic? Marvel is bigger than any one actor. If Reynolds was allowed to keep calling the shots, other stars might start pushing boundaries too. And for Marvel, a studio built on tightly controlled universes and interwoven narratives, that kind of chaos was unacceptable. Recasting Deadpool might sound insane, but for the studio, it could be the lesser evil compared to losing control of their billion-dollar empire. Fans braced for chaos. The mere thought of Marvel recasting their beloved Merc with a mouth was enough to spark nightmares of online meltdowns and hashtag wars. Yet in the world of Hollywood power struggles, even the unthinkable sometimes becomes reality.
I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends. They're not like, it's not just like a, hey, there's the person and we move on.
But I am excited because I'm a Logan fan. So, and then, you know,